Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Guess what? It's Monday. Are you awake?
Mhm.
Come on in here. This is Karen Hilton. Welcome to Monday Morning Jumpstart. This is the place for professionals and entrepreneurs and leaders of all kinds to figure out how to do three really important things: how to get focused, connect to your purpose, and develop the perspective you're going to need to do life on your own terms. I want to welcome you to this very special place. We get up every single Monday morning and just welcome our tribe in, and you're going to walk away with some things you can use. And I don't do it by myself. I've got a few folks who take the ride with me. We call them the RYV squad. They're somewhere in the world right now doing their thing. But I just want to say good morning to the squad, wherever you are. Kim Dudash, Lawrence Henderson, Pastor Andy Smith, who is our community pastor, and none other than the amazing Jeff Bull. And we have a really special guest this morning. I cannot wait to introduce you to him. He is actually my twin. And so I want you to get to know him a little bit. His name is John Kovaleski. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Karen. How are you, sweetheart?
You know, I'm great. I am super great. I've been wanting to do this, you and me, on the mic for a long time. And
Yeah.
here you are. I'm pretty stoked.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm honored to be here. I've been following the Monday Morning Jumpstart ever since you started it. I absolutely love it. It's great motivation to start the week with. And
Thank
you
you.
asked me to be on the show. I was like, absolutely, I'm all
Let's
in.
do it. Let's do it.
Yes, yes.
Well, for those of you who don't know John, you are going to have a real treat today to be able to get to know him a little bit, to hear his story of transformation. And we're talking today about doing impossible things and what it takes to do impossible things. And when you hear John's story, you're going to understand why it is we're talking about this particular topic. So I'm excited to have John share a little bit of his story. And here's what I want you to do: come on in and wait for it. Thanksgiving is over. My Christmas is up. I have a tree in almost every room. Just going to put that out there. I'm one of those. And of course, I've got my Christmas mug because you know what? I can't help it. I can't help it. I was going to put a picture of Santa back here, but you know, the flowers are kind of a theme and they're kind of a thing. So here we are. I just want to pop into the stream for just a minute and say good morning and welcome to the tribe. We've got Sarah Juliet Fruman, who is our marketing and social media guru. Good morning, Sarah. She's going to be following along in the stream. So y'all pop in, drop your comments. Let us know you're here. We've got Beverly Wilkes in the house. Good morning, Beverly. It's good to see you this morning, sis. She is one of our community members and one of our Reclaim Your Why digital course students, and she's an absolute delight. One of these days, Beverly, I'm gonna have you on so you can tell your story a little bit. But anyway, we're gonna have an amazing morning. Do me a favor, go ahead and share this in your community. Let people know, hey, Monday Morning Jumpstart is going live. We want to pull in the community and talk about this thing, what it actually takes to do impossible things. I don't know about you, John, but in 2020, I have done some impossible things. I have done some things that I didn't think I would ever do. I've done some things I didn't want to do, right? Come on, y'all. Christy Kent, good morning, sweetheart. How about you? Have you done some impossible things? And maybe, I don't know, maybe 2020 for you was normal. We need to talk if that's the case. But at some point in your life, you've done something impossible. But you know what happens? When we're on the front side of impossible, it feels, well, impossible. It feels like, you know what, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this, right? We get weak in the knees. I don't know what it is for you, but for me, my anxiety rages. I feel like, you know what, there's no way I'm going to be able to accomplish this. Here's what I know: doing impossible things most often actually doesn't happen just in a moment. It happens over time. And so I want you to hear a little bit about John Kovaleski. John is a fitness professional. And I mean, this guy, when I first met him, First of all, we have to tell the story of how we met, John.
Yeah.
We met in a Facebook challenge, in a Facebook community. And shout out to Lori Petrucci, who is amazing. She is a professional who focuses on helping people go live in the social media world. She is an expert in all things social media technology and that sort of thing. So, in streaming technology specifically, and her business is called Live Streaming Pros. So, John and I, in completely separate areas of the country, jumped in this 30-day challenge, and we were like, okay, we're going to figure out what this is. As we figured out, and actually I started last year, I think that was right, no, in April, and then we did it again in August, and that's where I met John. Am I getting that right, John?
Yep,
Did I get that right?
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
okay. So we met in August, and we were both like magnetic, like, okay, that dude is everything. I need to know who he is. John, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about who you are, the name of your business, and kind of what's your memory of how we met?
Well, as you said, I'm John Kovaleski. I'm a certified nutrition specialist. And the name of, I actually have two businesses which are health and fitness related. One is T2 Nutrition and Wellness. I am both an in person and online nutrition coach and fitness coach. And
Uh-huh.
then I have recently started a supplement company called T2
Wow.
Nutrition, where I'm actually, it's been kind of slow going because I've really been taking my time to research the supplements that I'm offering, because I want to make sure that the stuff doesn't have a bunch of fillers in it and garbage that people don't need. I want to focus on getting people quality supplements at a good price. So,
Mm-hmm.
and as far as how we
Amazing.
met, you are spot on. The first time I saw you go live, the very first time I saw you go live in that Lita challenge, I felt your heart right
Uh,
there from that very first one. And that's how we connected, because for me, doing live streaming and whatnot, I mean, I'm 53 years old. I'm like, what am I doing trying to start a YouTube channel,
Come
live
on.
streaming, and all that other stuff? But being in the business that I'm in, it's kind of the nature of the beast. You have to be able to reach out to the masses, because if I'm spending 8 hours a day in a gym, I'm only going to be able to help so many people in those 8 hours. But if I can produce video content, if I can go live, if I can take on clients online, there's
Yeah.
no end to the amount of people that I can help.
Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Okay, so we're going to do just a quick admin thing. And while I'm doing that, you guys go ahead and share. Let people know we're on. We want people to know who John is. He's got an amazing story. I'm going to tell you about it. John, check your volume. We want to be able to hear you a little bit better. I think my volume is up a little bit higher than yours, so we want to be able to hear you.
Okay, is that better?
Oh, that's so much better. That's so great. Okay. Jerry, check me. Is that okay? Is that much better? Jerry King is in the feed. Good morning, Jerry.
Yeah.
One of my favorite humans in the world. He is in the stream, so he's checking us on volume. So yes, that's better. Okay, so
Okay.
you've got these amazing fitness companies. You are a fitness professional specializing in online and in-person training, which is amazing. And when I first saw you, I was like, oh my gosh, that guy is so fit. Like, he's got the beard game going. And by the way, I wish Pastor Andy Smith was in here, because y'all would be brothers. You've seen Pastor Andy Smith.
Yes,
Like, y'all need to talk. Y'all need to talk. I'm just saying. Okay.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so when I met you and I started kind of checking out your website and all that sort of thing, I thought it was so cool what you're doing and the way that you're going about doing it. But what really got my attention was the story behind the story. So you're a fitness professional now, and you work with other people teaching them about fitness and nutrition, but it hasn't always been that way. Talk to us about that story.
Okay. Well, the quick version of this story, back in 2007, I was just your normal everyday American dad. Had three kids, went to work every day. I worked as a mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was overweight and I knew I was overweight, but I didn't realize to the extent, because I've always been a big guy, had a fair amount of muscle mass and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So, but my day usually started stopping by the convenience store, grabbing 6 liters of Mountain Dew, a
Wow.
thing of donuts, and some chocolate milk, and then I'd go off to work. And I never really thought anything of it because I was still able to work 60, 70 hours a week. I was able to get out and play with my kids. So I didn't think I was in that bad of shape.
Yeah.
And one day after lunch, I came back into work and I was doing an alignment on a car. And if anybody knows what having an alignment done on your car, you put the car on a rack and then the mechanic actually has to sit underneath to make the adjustments.
Mhm.
Um, I had been back in the bay where the alignments machine was for about an hour, and my boss came back there because he's like, John's normally pretty quick at this stuff, so he should be
Mm.
out of there. They found me unconscious under the car. They rushed me to the hospital in ambulance.
Oh
Seven
my
hours
God.
later, when I woke up, I was informed that um, I was at least a type 2 diabetic, if not a type 1. When I came in, I was in a diabetic coma. My
Oh.
blood sugar was well over 500. I could have died.
Now, what's
Um,
normal blood sugar, John?
normal blood sugar for someone who's non-diabetic um, is 80 to 120. That's a fasting blood sugar. Now, most people, when they eat things, especially carbohydrate rich foods, your blood sugar will spike. But people that don't have problems regulating blood sugar, their blood sugar will be back down to the normal range within an hour or two. So, but it was like when they brought me in, it had been like 2 hours since lunch. Now, granted,
Wow.
my lunch was an entire pizza, 2 Big Macs, and a large vanilla milkshake. That's what I had for lunch
Oh
every day.
my gosh.
Yeah, and I was like, it's not bothering me. I don't care. I
So
like the
you
food.
you
I
didn't
ate it.
have any signals or anything like
No.
that. You were at 500. So normal blood sugar is 80 to 100 and you were at 500.
hmm Technically,
Wow.
technically, anything over 300, you can start to have organ failure.
Oh my word. My goodness.
Yep.
So you are literally a walking miracle. Come
Yeah,
on.
I mean, I woke up after being in the coma, and my wife and kids were in the room crying, and this doctor looked at me and he said, "If you don't change what you're doing, you'll be dead in a year." I
Wow.
was like, "Okay, you don't have to tell me twice. Playtime's
Wow.
over. It's time to go to work." You know,
Wow.
and I immediately, and I should have known better, Karen. I really should have, because diabetes ran rampant throughout my family. We lost my
Okay.
mother from complications of diabetes. Before she passed, she had gone blind in one eye. She lost
Mm.
a leg. She was on dialysis
Mm.
for 2 or 3 years. I mean, it was horrible. And I
Wow.
should have known better. But I
Mm.
was like, it's not going to happen to me. I'll just, when it's my time, it's my time. Well, when you get faced with that stuff, it,
Yeah.
it, it changes you. It changes you. And I immediately started to educate myself from that point, because I was like, I saw the things that my mother was going through. She was still alive at that point, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm not going out like that. There's no way.
Mm. Okay, so hold on a second. You should have known better. Those were your words. You had a family history, but
Yep.
you felt well. You have a beautiful wife, beautiful kids. You were out playing in the yard doing the things that you normally do, and you were going through the motions, right?
Yeah.
Doing all the things,
Absolutely.
living life. And
Yep.
you went to work expecting to go home, but instead you woke up in a coma 7 hours later, coming up out of a diabetic coma. Is it fair to say that you probably should not have come up out of that coma? I mean, I want to just make it real
Oh
here.
no. Yeah. For exactly the doctor, as we were talking, he's like, I got to be honest with you. He said, I didn't think you were going to make it.
Mm,
When you came in unconscious and we tested your blood sugar, that's why we immediately called your wife and your kids, because we didn't think you were going to make it.
wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
John, we're talking today about doing impossible things and what it takes to do impossible things. You were in an impossible situation, and I cannot imagine how your wife felt sitting there watching all of this happen. And many of the folks in our community know what it's like to have that kind of come to Jesus moment, if you will, watching someone or experiencing it themselves. She had to feel like she was faced with an impossible situation. And as you came up out of that, I can imagine what might have been going through your mind, looking at your babies like, no. And I know you well enough to know that when you set your mind to something, you're there. Talk to us for a moment about kind of that impossible thing. We're talking a lot in this community right now about the wilderness and this thing that happens when you feel like you're completely in this environment that it's not familiar to you and you don't know what to do now or next. And, it just feels like the circumstances are impossible. Talk to us about your wilderness experience in this.
Oh yeah, I was 100%. It was like I woke up in the middle of the Alaskan outback. I was there and I had no idea what to do next.
Yeah.
The first thought was, okay, well, actually that night they wanted to keep me in the hospital and run a bunch of tests and all these other things. And I was like, you know what? I know what the issue is. I'm leaving. I'm going to fix this. Okay. Because I wasn't going to sit there and let them run up medical bills and all that type of stuff. Like, I'm going to go fix this. So I immediately set out to learn everything that I needed to learn. The next day, I made a call to a general practitioner, which was a complete and total waste of time. Let me just say, if you think that you have problems with blood sugar, if you think that you may be a diabetic, do not go to a general practitioner. You will waste your time. You need to go see someone who specializes in metabolic disease. An endocrinologist is the best thing to do.
An endocrinologist. Okay.
Endocrinologists. They study everything about the endocrine system. The endocrine system is one of the three major systems in your body that control all the functions. The endocrine system actually regulates hormones, and it regulates your insulin and stuff like that, which is used to regulate your blood sugar. So, but yeah, so it's like I went to see the general practitioner, big waste of time. So I called my endocrinologist and he had a 6-month waiting list.
Wow.
6 months. And I was like, okay, well, it is what it is. What can I do in the meantime? Said, well, we will write you a prescription for metformin, which is a pretty general medication that they use for controlling type 2 diabetes. They said you need to change your eating habits. And we need to start getting some exercise. So I took that and ran with it. That was kind of like my roadmap out of the wilderness.
Come on.
The whole time it was all about setting that focal point. Okay. From that moment when that doctor told me that, and I looked at him and I said, playtime's over, it's time to go to work.
Come on.
Has been my mantra ever since.
Okay, hashtag hold on a second. Playtime is over. I'm just saying, y'all, come on.
Absolutely. Because it's like I knew that the only person that was going to be able to fix this was me.
Yeah.
I knew enough about diabetes to know that if you know that you have an issue and it's not a situation where you're insulin dependent. If you're type 1 diabetic, your body's not making insulin. There's absolutely nothing that you can do about that. You can help regulate things with your diet and exercise, but you're still going to need insulin injections and stuff. But when you're type 2, all the power is in your hands.
Come on.
Nutrition and exercise is the most powerful medicine to actually reverse type 2 diabetes. And
come on. I need you to say that again, because one of the things that we know, and I don't know if y'all can tell, I need y'all to give some hashtags and some hands up and some fire emojis and stuff like that, because John is bringing the noise this morning about nutrition specific to type 2 diabetes. I actually have a friend whose son is a type 1 diabetic. It is absolutely life-threatening. It has absolutely changed their family's life, but she has become a champion for all things diabetes. And she has educated me. She's educated her community. And so I really love this idea that we educate each other through these things. But the reason why we're talking about doing impossible things is because, John, talk about how much you weighed at that time and then what that transformation was like. I mean, when we talk about doing impossible things, this guy right here has got some things to say about that. Talk to us about that for a minute.
Absolutely. Well, actually, if you want to pop me over to full screen, I'll show that transformation picture that I showed
Yes.
you.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna try to do that if I know what I'm doing. I'm not sure I can do that. It says kick you from studio. I don't want to do
Okay.
that.
No, they should be able to see it now. Let me try to bring it over here real quick. Okay. This is my transformation. In 2007, I weighed 405 pounds.
My goodness.
In 2013, I weighed 329 pounds. And that at that point in time, that picture was taken the day that I joined a gym.
Do y'all see this?
And then at the beginning of 2019, that picture was taken and I was down to 249 pounds. That was at the end of a cut. I'm still working towards, at some point in time, I may be 60 when it happens, but I'm going to do a bodybuilding competition.
And how old are you now, John?
I am 53 years old.
Okay, y'all just stop everything you're doing. I need you to give it up for my boy. Come on. This guy right here is 53 years old. I don't want to hear about I'm too old. I don't have what it takes. I can't do it. I don't have the resources. I don't have the money. I need y'all to drop that like it's hot. This man right here is 53 years old. That is just lit. All kinds of lit, John. That is absolutely amazing. First of all, I just want to say something. It would have been so easy for you to just kind of do yours and go back to it. But
Right.
you took your pain, you took your story, and you transferred it into this thing, your why. I talk all the time about taking what it is you've experienced and using it as part of your why. Your story was your path back to your why. Talk to us about what that was like and why you chose to do that.
It's actually kind of funny, Karen, because my why, believe it or not, from from when I from when I was first diagnosed up
Mm-hmm.
until I joined a gym and I got to the point where I was off all diabetic medicine and everything, which
Mm-hmm.
was in 2016. My doctor was like, "You don't need meds anymore. You're good to go."
Wow.
Um, you know, at that point in time, I was like, okay, well, I need another goal because I'm a goal driven person. I need that why. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Me
Mm-hmm.
staying healthy, my why is always going to be my family, always going to be my wife and my kids.
Yeah.
But I needed something else, something that I didn't have that I needed to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the bodybuilding thing came into play because
Mm-hmm.
most people don't get into bodybuilding at 48 years old and
Come
try to do
on.
that type of thing. But then I'm going through all this stuff. I'm doing real good with, from 2013 to 2019. When you look at those two pictures, I had actually put on about 30 pounds of muscle and I'd lost about 12% body fat. Okay.
Wow.
But now it's like here another situation comes about 2 months after that 2019 picture was taken.
Uh-huh.
Another situation comes where I have to pivot yet again
Okay.
because I wound up, my right knee went bone on bone. I had to have a knee replacement. It
Mm,
was so bad that I couldn't spend more than 20 minutes on my feet without my knee swelling up to the size of a basketball.
my
It's horrible.
goodness. Woo!
Well, when you're 250 pounds, 250 pounds, by the time that weight gets to your knee joint, it's like 500-600 pounds easy.
Wow.
And when there's
Because the
nothing in there
compound
to cushion
pressure.
it, yes, and when there's nothing there to cushion it, and at that time I worked a factory job. I was running two machines simultaneously, so it was
Mm-hmm.
nonstop, 12 to 16 hours back and forth between these two machines,
Mm-hmm.
and my knee just said enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally between I actually had to have surgery on both knees. I had the one knee replaced. I had cartilage fixed in the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 18 months pretty much inactive, and I
Mm.
wound up throughout the whole process. I wound up picking up and I picked up back about 50 pounds.
Okay.
So um, now I'm going through that process again. But what happened in that downtime was, I don't know if you're familiar with Mark Sisson. He's the gentleman he created the Primal Blueprint. He owns, he started a company called Primal Kitchens, which is you can still find their stuff today in all your major grocery stores. It's all low carb sauces and condiments and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
He was on a podcast with Tom Bilyeu, one of the guys
Mm-hmm. I know
founded
Tom
Sweat
Bilyeu.
Nutrition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he was talking to Tom, and he's like, you know what, Tom? He said it's like this: if you find the world's biggest problem, you're going to find the world's biggest opportunity to help people, but you're also going to find the world's biggest business opportunity. Now,
Wow.
this whole time, I'm thinking to myself, all right, my body is not going to let me do the type of work that I used to do.
Right.
Even with the knee replacement, my doctor was like, if you go back to that job, the knee might last you 5 years. Okay.
Wow.
Well, I was like, well, I need to figure out something. It's time to work smarter, not harder, because I've worked
Okay.
hard all my life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I heard Mark Sisson say that, I immediately picked up my phone and I said, Google, how many people in the world today have type 2 diabetes?
Mm.
280 million people, 70 million of them are undiagnosed, 13 million of them are kids. I
Mm.
was like, okay. So I immediately went to my laptop and GoDaddy.com and I'm like, T2 Nutrition, domains available. And everything started from there. I got my
Wow.
certifications. So, even though everything that I know and everything that I've been able to do, the certification, did I really need it? Probably not. But some people want to see that piece of
Yeah.
paper
Yeah.
before they'll put your faith in you. And I totally get that. So
Yeah.
I got my certifications and T2 Nutrition and Wellness was born and I never looked back.
My goodness. So you go back to what you heard Tom Bilyeu said. And for those of you who don't know the Bilyeu empire, they have a wicked, wicked, powerful story. Like it would be on my wish list, like bucket list, to get them on this show. Like if that happens, I'll see y'all later because
right.
that would be like everything.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, go back to what he said about if you see the world's biggest problems, you then see the world's biggest opportunities. And by the way, the world's biggest business opportunities. And I'm talking to people in this community all the time about, taking their experiences and leveraging that. And maybe that is not the path for you to start a business, but everything that happens to you is purposeful. And the way that I say it is God will waste nothing. He wastes nothing. If you give it to him, he will do something with it. I also say all the time that your passion will bring you to the table, but it's your purpose that keeps you there. And what I love about your story, John, is you said, you had this massive transformation. You had this life-changing, life-altering moment, and then you had that transformation. And most people think, they see somebody on the magazine cover or they see your beautiful face on the front of one of the products that you rep, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, he's so fabulous! It must be so easy." But what you said was, y'all, I had a couple months later, I had yet another wilderness experience where you were on your bum for 18 months. My goodness. With both knees, like that's part of how you made your living, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so that reality that the wilderness doesn't just come once, right? It comes again and again. But there was something important about what you said that I really want to hone in on, and that is that during that period, you gained 50 pounds, but you began a discovery process, right? Where you said, hold on a second. There's some things I can be doing even in the waiting, even in that period of transformation where things are not perfect, right? Talk to us about that for a minute.
That was my thing. I didn't want to sit around and just watch YouTube and feel sorry for myself. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just not the type of person I am.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things. I was like, I always need something to keep my mind occupied anyway.
Yeah.
And throughout my whole transformation over all the years and everything that I've been able to do, I've always had the desire to help people. Because in
Mm-hmm.
2007, when I was diagnosed, I mean, come on, Karen, the internet was not the resource that it is today.
Right.
So I was literally like sitting in libraries, reading books about metabolic syndrome and all these other things,
Mm-hmm.
trying to understand what it was that was happening within my body,
Mm.
trying to understand each of the macronutrients, understand what their role is within the body.
Yeah.
And that's why, I tell people all the time, education is
Yeah.
first and foremost. What you know, what someone can help you to realize
Mm-hmm.
about things that you're doing within your life can make powerful changes, but you have to be open to that.
Right.
So many people that I've dealt with over the years, it's been like, I know I need to lose weight, and my doctor told me I'm pre-diabetic and all this stuff, you know, but I just can't give up the carbohydrates. I just can't give up my ice cream. I just can't give up this. I'm like, okay, well, here's your options. And I don't want to be brutally blunt with you, but this is life or death. And if you think I'm kidding, here's my story. You can either give those up or you can give up a finger. You can give up a toe. You can give up
Mm-hmm.
a foot. You can
You
go
know
down.
what? There's
Choice is
always
yours.
there's always a cost, right?
Yes,
The
yes.
way that I
Yep.
say it is every get has a due.
Mhm.
Everything that you
Yeah.
think you want, everything that you think you want to get has a due behind it. It
Yeah.
doesn't magically appear in fairy dust. We say it all the time, this is not the land of rainbows and unicorns. There's
Mhm.
always something that you have to get. People oftentimes, if I'm speaking on a platform or I published a blog or something like that, they're like, oh my gosh, it seems so easy for you. And I'm like, boo, you don't know what it took for me to get right here.
Mhm.
There
Exactly.
there was a cost and there is a cost. There's always
Mhm.
something. And so the question that I always ask is, got it, right? As a coach, it's not my job to judge what somebody believes or what it is they're doing. The
Right.
question that I always ask is, what's it costing you?
Mhm.
What's it
Yep.
costing you to continue doing what you're doing? We look at magazine covers and we say, oh my gosh, they've got this, they've got that. It looks like they have it all together. Oh my gosh, look at the way she's standing, or whatever.
Mhm.
But the reality is that it has cost her something. It has cost John something to get that amazing physique, to be a part of an amazing brand. Talk to us for a second, just real quick. Let's just have a little commercial break here. Talk to us for a second about the brand that you're working with right now. It's pretty cool.
Oh, you talk about Mountaineer brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually it was kind of funny when I started growing out the beard. I always had kind of a short beard or a goatee. I
Uh-huh.
never let it grow long just because I couldn't take the itching. It kind of drove me crazy every time I tried to grow it out.
Yeah.
But one day here back a few years ago, I was like, you know what? It had been probably like 2 weeks since I trimmed it, and I was like, well, it's not itching that bad, so I'm just going to let it grow and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I started letting it grow, of course, I'm one of those people. I got to research stuff. I hit online and I'm like, okay, what's the best beard products I should use? Should I use conditioner? All these other things.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran across a review for a company called Mountaineer Brand.
Okay.
So I'm like, I knew that they were based somewhere in West Virginia. However, I thought they were hours and hours away from me. And so I started ordering their products online through Amazon.
Uh-huh.
Well, I I guess I had been growing out for about 6 months, and I ran into somebody, and they were like, they're like 5 miles up the road, right? I'm like,
Wow.
you got to be kidding me! And the guy that told me this had actually done some work with them, and he has started a local clothing company called West Virginia Muscle. He's an ex-vet, and all of his shirts are all based around fitness and whatnot. And
Okay.
he had reached out to me for some ideas, and he's the one that told me about them being in town. So I hit the guy up on Facebook, and I'm like, because the owner of this company, his beard is down to his belt. And it is
Wow. What's
and
his
it is
name? Let's give him
absolutely
a shout
amazing.
out. What's his name?
His name is Eric Young.
Hey, Eric
Eric
Young,
Young.
what's going on,
Yes.
dude?
Yes. But so it's like, so I reached out to him just to make a connection because I wanted to ask him how he got his beard that long. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, we got to conversating on Facebook and whatnot. And the next thing you know, he invited me out there to tour the place so he could show me how the stuff was made.
Wow.
So we did that, and then his media guy did an interview with me all about
Right.
Keto Nutrition. And once I met his media guy, we all became friends. And of course, I'm a techie when it comes to this video stuff.
Yes, he is.
He
Yeah.
he started picking my brain um about how to make their live videos and stuff like that better. And so here recently, now it's like I'm going to be working with them, making content, kind of being one of the faces, one of the live faces on Facebook and YouTube of the
Mm-hmm.
company.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's really cool.
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, Mountaineer Brands, we just want to give you a shout out. So for all of you that know guys with beards,
Or bald heads.
or bald
They have
heads,
a bald
okay.
head. They have a bald head care line too.
Wow. Come on, y'all. I know some of y'all in here know somebody with a beard and a bald head or a bald head. So we want to just give a shout out to Mountaineer Brands. Sarah's going to put it in the chat, the link to the website, and we want to give them a shout out. Y'all know where to be doing some of your holiday shopping. So thank you to Mountaineer Brands for loaning us John Kovaleski for this morning. We really appreciate it. So one of the things that I love about you, John, because true story, you're a little bit of a Renaissance man, right? So you're a fitness and nutrition professional. You are now a brand representative. You're a content creator. But you are also a little bit of a techie. And that was actually one of the ways that you and I started kind of hanging out, was because I had no idea what I was doing. And John was like, oh, I got you. So, but he isn't just a tech, like this guy's really got some things going on. And what I love about John's story is that, we talked about the transformation. That would have been enough to be awesome. But you took your transformation, you shared it with the world, you filled a gap, right? Because you are an expert in this whole idea of metabolic transformation in the area of fitness and nutrition. But then you also learned some skills in the technology space, and you have now moved that as part of your business model as well. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because when I realized I was going to have to start doing online stuff, I was like, I am 52 years old. What business do I have trying to start a YouTube channel? You know what I mean? But I knew that to reach my goal, my purpose, to help as many people as possible live happier, healthier lives by educating them about nutrition and exercise, I was going to have to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I dove right in, and I don't know, Karen, I've always been one of those people, like back in 2007, after the coma and everything, not long after that incident, I stopped working as a mechanic. I became a stay-at-home dad because one of my children was handicapped. And we needed to pull her out of public schools. So I stayed home to take care of her. And during that time, I taught myself web design, and I started a web design business.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on just 1 minute. Okay.
All right.
Did you have thousands of dollars in the bank?
Nope.
Did you have a formal education in web design?
No, to be quite honest, I didn't even get my GED until 2010.
That deserves a foot stomp.
Yes. No excuses.
You did not even have your GED. Come on now. Hold on a second. Did you have a network of gazillionaires who could fund your business idea?
Nope. Sure didn't.
You taught yourself web design. I hope y'all are getting this. Y'all need to share this with 75 of your best friends, because here's the thing. Rocking your vision is not about having it all together. Okay. Shay Houston is in the comments right now, and she can tell you all about that. Rocking your vision is not about having it all together. It's not about having all the things. I love all the things. I'm a big believer in education. I'm thinking about going back to get my master's in organizational leadership because that's my jam. I love all of those things. You guys know Margaret Presley Davis is our financial strategist. She is rock solid, like everything. And she's getting ready to do her launch at the beginning of the year for her Your Profit Playbook. We're all going to get registered for that. So we're going to be helping her launch that as well. those are important things, but they're not all the things. Rocking your vision, whether you are a professional or an entrepreneur, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, is not at all about having perfection. It's about making some decisions. It's about building healthy habits. It's about grit. Right, in the digital course that we're doing right now called Reclaim Your Why, we're talking about the character traits that are necessary to navigate the wilderness, right? Having a plan and doing all those things and having a healthy mindset has nothing to do with whether or not the wilderness will come for you. But the reality is that people who survive the wilderness have some very specific traits. They don't all have the same thing in their backpack, but they have some very specific traits. Some of the decisions that we make as business owners and that sort of thing have to do with our habits, our boundaries, and our ability to tap into our own vision. That is why this community exists, to be able to fuel that kind of thinking. We come here live every single Monday morning to introduce you to people like John, so you'll know real time, straight, no chaser, that there are people who are actually doing it, and this community is full of them. I don't care how old you are. So for those of you that are watching this and maybe you're in your second season or your third season or your fourth reinvention, whatever that is, you know what I say all the time. If you have a pulse, check it. If you have a pulse, you have a purpose. This guy right here is live and in living color. I am here for it. Hold on a second. Let me pop into the comments real quickly, because I know there's some good things going on in here. We've got Christy Kent, Angela Karanja. She says, oh, wow, impressive. And congratulations, John. I think people are loving your story. Let's see who else. We have Myrna Zimmerman, one of my favorite humans. I love this woman with all of my heart, and her kids and her grandkids. They're really more like family to me. And when all this is over, we're going to do a hangout, like for real, Myrna. I'm serious. Let's see, who else do we have in here? We have Shay Houston. Yes, she says, so proud of you, John. You know what? You're an inspiration, John. You really are. This is an incredible story. As you think about kind of all of the things that have happened in 2020, 2020 is now moving towards being in our rear view mirror. What have been your big takeaways this year?
I think first and foremost, and I think the world has picked up on this in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Always, and it doesn't matter if it's in business or just in life in general, you always have to be ready to pivot. You cannot get in a lane and think that you're always going to be able to stay in that lane. It's just like going down the highway. Sometimes you got to change lanes. Sometimes you got to slow down. Sometimes you got to put your foot in the radiator. You know what I'm saying? It really doesn't matter. You've just got to be ready. Don't get so comfortable where you are.
Come on.
That you aren't willing to see past what's right in front of you.
Come on, y'all. This preaches. This is so good. I love it. So you always got to be ready to pivot. I love this. And one of the things that people always ask me about, they're like, Karen, you always seem so joyful. So to be clear, joy is one of my core values. It's always been one of my core values. And I used to be, kind of in my early days, if things weren't going, right or as I expected all around me, it would show in my face. Like I am super easy to read, right? I'm an empath. I'm meaning I sense the world according to how I feel and what I sense around me. That works for me until it doesn't. I'm a helper, so I'm always, looking for ways to bless people and help. That's who I am, right? But I used to be that kind of person that if things weren't going right for me, or if something happened that was unexpected, my world would fall apart. I'd be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Like, joy isn't possible. But this is one of the foundations of where this idea that your passion will get you there, but it's your purpose that keeps you there, right? Mm-hmm. Your purpose is something bigger than what you're doing in the moment. That has been one of the things that's fueled your ability to pivot and to achieve transformation over and over and over again. And so one of the big power plays is that you always have to be ready and willing to pivot. It doesn't mean that you leave things too early or that you stay too long in a thing. Come on now. That's not what we're talking about, right? What we're
Yep.
talking about is being able to have a different perspective, right? About the challenges and the changes, and the things that come your way. When the wilderness, tries to come for you, right? And the way that I say it is the wilderness tried to snatch us by the throat and drag us into the wilderness, but you weren't meant to stay there, right? Whatever it is you're going through right now, try to change your perspective about how it can serve you. If you are facing losing your job, I can't imagine, because I've been there, but I cannot imagine. I never want to make light of what people are going through. What you're going through is real. What you're feeling is real. But we want to, as folks in this community who are trying to rock our vision and trying to pass it down, we don't want to stay there, right? We got to be able to shift our perspective. And as John's talking about, we got to be able and ready and willing to pivot. I'm here for it. I love this community and I love all y'all. We're coming into kind of the home stretch, but I love kind of the idea, John, that your story is imperfect, but it is absolutely perfect for what it is that you've been called to do. Can you talk, because not everybody in here, of course, is familiar with type 2 diabetes. Not everybody is dealing with that kind of challenge. But can you talk about this idea of everybody's story is unique, using what we have, our story, our experiences, for what's happening for us? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, first and foremost, before I forget, let me go back and touch on something that you were just talking about. You were talking about going in and out of the wilderness. If you
Mhm.
take and you look at some people that are survivalists, for example,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
they go into the wilderness and the wilderness teaches them. Not saying
Mm,
that you have to stay in the wilderness, but the wilderness will give you skills.
come
Everything
on.
that I went through gave me skills. Okay. It gave me a desire. It
Yes.
gave me knowledge. And it's all about using all those things. Now,
Mhm.
I kind of got sidetracked. What did you just ask me?
He's my
I
people.
wanted to. I was thinking about that,
He's
and I
my
wanted to make
people.
sure that I touched on that while you were talking about the wilderness, and then I totally forgot what you
This,
asked me.
this dude is my people. Okay, so the question was everybody has a
Mhm.
unique situation, right?
Yes.
So again, people will, and I still find that fascinating. And I'll tell you just a quick story. So some of y'all know that I used to be a pageant girl. I'm just saying, I used to be a pageant girl, and one of the first pageants I ever won was in Memphis, Tennessee. I went to high school in Memphis, and I competed in this pageant, in the state pageant, and I won. I it was like it was incredible. And actually, it was at the county level, but I was on my way to state. And so I won the county pageant out of all of these girls, and I was beautiful. Like when I go back and I look, I had on this gorgeous, kind of midnight blue gown, and I had a crown on my head and a sash. And I was, glad handing, and people were congratulating me and all like this. And this little girl, I will never forget her. She had pigtails, this little brown girl looked just like me. And she walked up to me and she said, "Excuse me, I want to be just like you when I grow up." And I looked down at her and I said, "Oh, honey, that's beautiful. If you knew what I just went through, you wouldn't be saying that."
Mhm.
Right? Like I looked like I had it all together, but I didn't.
Mhm.
I was looking at other people, and even though I had a lot, or what this little girl thought was a lot, I didn't see it that way. I was so busy at that stage in my life. I was in my 20s trying to pursue what everybody else had. So my question to you was about, can you talk to our community about using what you have, um, to rock your vision, to navigate the wilderness? You don't have to have what everybody else has. Look at, kind of pivot your perspective, if you will,
Mhm.
about who you are and what God has given you. Can you talk to us about
Absolutely.
that?
Yes, indeed. And I'm actually glad that you told that story to refresh me on the question, because that's something that is very, very important in what I do. So many people, when they think about getting fit, and
Mhm.
exercising and lifting weights and stuff like that, they
Yeah.
think they have to look like these fitness models. They have to,
Mm.
they see these people and they're like, I'm never going to be able to do what it takes to attain that. You
Yeah.
don't need that. You don't need that to be healthy. People don't understand bodybuilders, and fitness models, like when they're getting ready for a photo shoot, they're restricting water, they're drying themselves out so their muscles pop more. It's all about carb manipulation. They'll like pull all the carbs out of their diet so they can get rid of water for like a week before they
Wow.
have the shoot. And then what they'll do is they'll take in very little water, but they'll eat a ton of carbs. Carbohydrates come into the muscle, and when they do, they bring whatever moisture is in your body into the
Mhm.
muscle, pumping up the muscle and giving them an even drier look.
Y'all need to
It
pay
is
attention to
it's
this. This is
it
deep.
is it is an incredibly it's an incredibly difficult process to go through. If you
Yeah.
ask any bodybuilder what
Yeah.
it's like to go through what they call peak week, which is like the week before a show,
Yeah.
you don't want any parts of it. You really
Wow.
don't. And it's a situation where you have to be extremely vain and extremely self-centered. To be healthy, you don't need to do all that. You need to
Wow.
understand, first and foremost, this is the biggest problem that, and I want you guys to listen to this. 90% of you that are listening to this that are overweight, exercise is not your problem.
Mm.
If you want a good physique,
Come on.
okay, if you want a good physique, if you want to drop body fat and you want to be healthy, 80% of it is nutrition. What
Wow.
you put in your body is going to show on your body, and that's a fact.
Wow.
You know, if you are giving yourself the proper amount of nutrients, the right amount of carbohydrates, the right amount of fats, the right amount of proteins, and all of that stuff has to be based on your life.
Right.
So many of these people get on Nutrisystem and all these other things. They don't. It's like a cookie cutter program. They don't take into account your lifestyle. How many days a week do you exercise? Do you have an office job, or do you have a physical job where you're working 40, 50 hours a week, constantly moving?
Right.
All of these things play a part.
Right.
So if for anyone out there that is looking to get healthier, don't look at the cookie cutter stuff. You need to educate yourself either through a coach, or if you're one of those people that are motivated enough that can educate yourself on proper nutrition, and then work in the exercise, and you're going to see amazing results. And the pictures I showed you are proof. That was all exercise and nutrition, but it was mostly nutrition.
I love what you're saying here, John, about, really taking a look at your life, to determine what it is that you need and building something that will, help you succeed, right? We talk so much about that in this community in the digital course that we just launched. Right now, registration is closed. We will be relaunching it early in the year, but we wanted to do a beta run for our community and just get some feedback, and it's been amazing. Um, but I love what you're talking about, because a lot of what we do is help people take a look at their own experience to build
Yes.
a roadmap, to help them reclaim their why, whatever season that's in, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
part of the work of, a coaching model, is making sure that you build solutions that are reasonable for you, that make sense for your lifestyle and the goals that you want to achieve. So that
Mm-hmm.
really, really resonates me. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to give the community one last opportunity. If you have a question for John, drop it in the comments below. We want to take advantage of this time when we get these amazing guests in here. This is your opportunity to get some coaching, to get some advice, that sort
Mm-hmm.
of a thing. So go ahead and drop it in the comments. Or if you're watching it on replay, put hashtag replay in the comments. If you're watching it on our YouTube channel, don't forget to hit that like button, and then the bell to get notifications so that you know when we go live with these amazing guests, because you can jump in and get some of your questions answered as well. John, for a second, talk to us about who you work with, who's your ideal client, and then we want to know how we can find you.
Okay. Um, I typically work with people years like age 30 and up.
Okay.
Um, a lot of people have a tendency to come to me that already have metabolic conditions. The
Mm-hmm.
name T2 Nutrition kind of pulls people in. But
Mm-hmm.
I have worked with people that were trying to lose, and trying to prep for competitions, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Hashtag
actually
Stacy Chapman.
Yes, I was just getting ready to say I'm actually the official nutritionist for the OCB Mountain State Classic, which is
Come
an
on.
all natural bodybuilding competition that happens here in West Virginia.
That's getting ready to
Um,
happen, right?
yeah, she had to cancel 2020s, but they've scheduled another one. Apparently, I think it's June 19th,
Yep.
either June or July 19th. I'm not exactly sure which. It's still
Okay.
early for me this morning. I don't drink coffee, so I don't have the coffee or tea to kind of whoo, I just drink water. But anyway, so yeah, so it's like I work with people that want to get involved in competitions. The nice thing about the UCB Mountain State Classic is they're actually going to have a body transformation division, which means you don't have to be jacked. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. If
Wow.
you have a transformation,
Yeah.
like you're really heavy and you've lost a bunch of that weight, you can come on stage, share your story, and you can compete in the body transformation division. So that's pretty awesome too. Uh,
Wow. That's incredible.
far as where people can find me, I'm pretty much everywhere on social media, T2 Nutrition and Wellness. My website is t2nutritionandwellness.com, and the supplement company is Ketocrine, which is KETOCRINE.com.
Ketocrin. Okay. Amazing. And one more thing. I mean, if that wasn't enough, y'all, come on. You also have a podcast. Is that right? Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I kind of put it on hiatus for a little while because I wanted to build up some episodes so I wasn't having to record an episode, rush to get it edited and put it
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
But I've got quite a few backed up now, so I should start releasing those next week.
Uh-huh.
It's called the Jacked Up Podcast,
Uh-huh.
and it's JAKED, JAK for my initials.
Uh-huh.
Um, and you can find that on YouTube and all the audio platforms as well.
Amazing. John, you are an incredible, like, I don't know, you're my hero. I think you've done some amazing things. And what I love about your heart is that you're always willing to share. Um, I absolutely love that. So you work with men and women, is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Men
Okay,
and
you
women. I've even worked with kids. I'm actually working with a child right now who he's 13 years old. His mother reached out to me
mm-hmm,
to access some of the exogenous ketone supplements that I sell because they're very,
mm-hmm,
very good for people with ADHD.
mm-hmm.
Um, and after she reached out to me, she was telling me a little bit about her story and that her child was overweight and whatnot. So I'm actually training him as well, and he's
Wow.
13.
So you work with men, women, and kids. I
Right.
absolutely love that. Um, and you do virtual training as well as in-person training, is that right?
Yes, I have all of my clients have access to a custom app
Uh-huh.
where I can assign their nutrition, I can assign their workouts every time they log a meal, every time they record a workout, I get notifications, I can interact with them in real time. For
Uh-huh.
example, if Joe Smith records his workout and he's doing back today and I noticed that he lifted about 30 pounds lighter on deadlift this week than he did last week, I could shoot him a message and say, "Hey, what was going on? Was your back sore? Give me some feedback." So
Uh-huh.
having that real time interaction
Yeah.
makes it much easier to train people in remote places when I can't be right there with them.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Hey, we've got a question in the feed from none other than Miss Kathy Rogers. I don't think you know Kathy Rogers. She's here in the Atlanta area, but if you don't know her, you should. This woman is amazing. Her question is, as a senior, meaning 60 plus in years, reasonably good health, no major health issues at all, how do I get started with better health, meaning losing about 50 pounds and staying fit? What a powerful question. Come on.
Indeed. And thank you so much for that question, Kathy. The
Yeah.
first thing that you would need to do is you need to examine what you're eating. Okay. Obviously, um, at your age, no matter what your physical state is, you may be able to get in the gym and work out 3 or 4 days a week. You may be able to walk 2 or 3 miles a day. I don't
Yeah.
really know, but the first place to start is your nutrition. You need
Okay.
to make sure that you're eating the right amount of nutrition.
Mm-hmm,
Here's
mm-hmm,
how it works. There's a formula, several different formulas, but one that in particular that I like to use. And what it does is it examines your daily activity, your height, your weight, your age, and I could come up with a formula for your basic metabolic rate. What that means is that's the amount of calories you need to be eating just to sustain life if you don't do anything but sit on the couch.
Okay.
Then I figure in your activity. That's when
Hmm.
we come up with your total daily energy expenditure. Now, to lose weight, you want to bring your calorie intake about 500 calories below that. So, for
Hmm.
example, if your total daily energy expenditure is 2,200 calories, you're going to want to drop down to about 1,700 calories. Make sure you're
Hmm.
getting adequate fats, adequate proteins,
Hmm.
and the weight will come off on its own. And
Wow.
then you add in exercise to keep the joints mobile, keep the synovial fluid flowing through the joints. Obviously, to keep the muscle stimulated and things like that.
Hmm. Hmm. What I love about the concept of staying fit and being healthy, and this idea that if you do nothing else, that it really starts with nutrition, is all of us could look at our pantry today and remove things. And I've actually done this process of cleaning out my pantry. And your non-fitness opinion here would be start with your pantry. Literally go through your pantry and create a box for things you can give away, right? And remove those things that, like, put them in the trash. I am not a fan of wasting food, but for me, as someone who does have ADD, if I hold on to stuff and I'm like, oh, I'm going to hold on and give this to Susie and give this to Bobby, and it'll never get done.
Mm-hmm.
So this idea of create a box of things you can take to your local food shelter, and then the things that are in your pantry that are not healthy for you. And I mean, there are any number of basic lists. I want y'all to go to T2 Nutrition and Wellness. Is that right?
Yep.
T2
Yep.
Nutrition and Wellness.com.
TTNutritionandwellness.com. Mm-hmm.
John has all kinds of articles that are free, resources and things like that, where you can get started. Do that. Start with your pantry, clean stuff out, because if it's not there, you're not going to be tempted to do it. And then start with a healthy habit. That's the second thing I want you to do. Increase your water intake, eat more leafy greens. There are simple things that you can do. The third thing I want you to do is I want you to schedule a session with John. John, talk to us about scheduling a consultation with you.
Okay. Well, I offer free 30-minute consultations. And
Okay.
during that consultation, we can even do it over the phone, over Zoom, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
During that time, well, actually ahead of time, what I'll do is I'll send you my intake forms.
Okay.
It's nine pages of homework, and it's very, very in-depth. It gets into not only what types of food do you eat, what's your job like, how much do you exercise, but it also gets a little bit into the mindset, because mindset is key in this.
Yeah.
It is truly key. If you're going to control your nutrition and whatnot, you need to make sure that your mindset is right.
Mm-hmm.
If you have abnormal stresses, if you're in a situation where, for example, say you're a wife and you want to cut out having all sugary snacks in the house and stuff like that, but your husband's like, well, you're going on a diet, I'm not, so we ain't getting rid of nothing. You just have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
These are the types of things we need to know.
Mm-hmm.
So they fill out the intake forms. We schedule a 30-minute consultation. We go over the intake forms. I tell them what I think that they should be doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go from there. And by the way, before I forget, one other caveat that I want to give Kathy on her question. At her age, she's going to want to make sure that she watches her carbohydrate intake.
Okay.
Okay. Out of the three major macronutrients, protein, fat, and carbohydrates are not evil, but they are the most dangerous one. And the reason for
Okay.
that is that if you eat too much protein, if you eat too much fat, your body can eliminate that. Your
Okay.
body has no way to eliminate sugar. It does one of two things. It either burns it for energy if it's needed,
Okay.
or it stores it as fat.
Wow.
So if you're eating too many carbohydrates, even if you're exercising, if you're eating more carbohydrates than what you need to be eating to
Mm-hmm.
fuel whatever it is that you're doing throughout the day, you will store it as fat. It'll make it much more difficult to burn fat.
Wow. I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna be walking into 2021 looking some kind of way. I'm just saying. And John's gonna be the one to help me. Can you just for a second, y'all, just take a minute and thank John for just downloading the wisdom, sharing his story, and giving us some power plays to be able to take back our health. Reclaiming your why is every part of also including your health, you guys. You can't rock any kind of vision if you're not healthy. There are some of us that are dealing with situations that are outside of our control, absolutely. But for many of us, there are things that we can do. There are choices that we can make. There are disciplines that we can employ to really lean into being healthy or being healthier. Oh, by the way, Debbie Beaudry Hatch is in the house. Come on, that's a girl.
Hey, Debbie.
Hey, Debbie, what's going on, girl? I'm hoping to get her in January because Debbie is a personal finance professional, and she's got some amazing stuff going on. So that's
She's
coming.
Also a power lifter.
Yes, she is. She's also a power lifter.
Yes.
I forgot that. She has a powerful story. Okay, John. So when we have Debbie on, will you commit to me to let's host it together?
Oh, absolutely.
Done.
Absolutely.
Debbie, just get ready. I'm just saying. Anyway, this has been absolutely incredible. I love y'all so much. This is such an incredible way to start Mondays. And I'm thankful because you guys give more to us than we give out. And we're super thankful for all of you. John, you are a walking miracle. You are my hero. And I know you have blessed this community. Thank you for taking time on your Monday morning to join us. I really appreciate it.
Oh, Karen, thank you for having me. This has been so much fun, which it always is anytime we get together anyway.
That's right.
But you know, one of the things that I love most out of what I do is being able to share what I know and what I've been through with people in the hopes that they'll get something out of it. I tell people all the time, my ultimate goal before I die, if I don't wipe out obesity and type 2 diabetes altogether, I want to make sure that it knows it's been in a fight.
Come on.
It's going to know I'm going to take a chunk out of it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel. So anytime I get a chance to share my story and share some knowledge with people, I absolutely love it. And I really thank you for having me on the show.
Absolutely. It's been my joy. And of course, we're going to talk again. Y'all gonna see John again. I'm just saying, y'all schedule your session with John. It's free, you guys, and it's worth it. This is the kind of work that we're going to do together. And we're going to walk into 2021 with a new mindset. And we're going to be serving notice to the wilderness that, you know what, we've got this. You've got options, you guys. And I'm so thankful that you were able to join us. John, one more time, Kathy's asking, share your info one more time, just so people know how to get in touch with you.
Okay. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's T2 Nutrition and Wellness. Except for Twitter, rather. I'm sorry. For some reason, they decided to change my name to Wellness T2. You can email me at john.kovaleski at t2nutritionandwellness.com. It's just John Kovaleski is my personal profile on Facebook. You can hit me up on there. You can hit my DMs, whatever you want to do. Reach out anyway, because I'm here to help. 30
minutes can change your life, you guys. Sign up for that free session. And you know what? Everybody have an amazing week. You've got your jumpstart. Go do it. You've got options. I will see you next time around. Have a great week, everybody. John, hold on one second. Have a great week. Talk to you later, everybody.